What is going on, YouTube? So for this past year, I've been kind of working on a social analytics project of taking data from the most charismatic people in human history and then comparing themselves to other people in order so that I can develop an understanding of how I can become a more effective communicator. So finally, it's been all put together after many long nights after work and many weekends where I should have been out partying. However, hey, it's I just want to be better at this. So let's go ahead and take a look at the data. Overall, I scored okay. Pretty much averaged about a 7 out of 10 across the board. And let's take a look at kind of where I stand and then where I could improve upon so that next time when I go ahead and do this, that I can score better and that I can improve my communication skills along the way. So relatable is how I relate to you, 7 out of 10. Memorable is how memorable what I say in the conversation is kind of how, I don't know, people just know, like, memorable people. Like, you can remember their stories. Curious is that's how much I'm, looking to understand you, how curious I am of you. Pretty much everybody fucking knows what these things are. Engaging, how engaging I am in the conversation between you and me. How I can start a conversation, how I can build a conversation. So how I can build a conversation is the lowest score out of all of them. Talking to my friends after the results came back, I was like, what do you guys think about this? Do you think that is this accurate or is it not? And then some of my good friends are just like, yeah, sometimes you can be hard to have a conversation with. You can start conversations fine, you can kind of get the ball rolling, but once you kind of get in there, it's like, I kind of have a hard time sometimes keeping it going, and then all of a sudden conversation dies off for a little bit. And then I'm like, okay, well, if this is accurate, then I think I might be onto something here. So let's go ahead and take a look at what factors are involved with building conversation that I can go ahead and work on and improve so that, next time I go ahead and do this test for myself, that I can make these, little circles bigger. So what the idea is behind this is that, I first take a test, I score, this first one, I next take a test, expand, and then, all of a sudden I'm outside this dashed line. That's kind of the goal. Within these, each single point is consisted of multiple other data points. It's kind of blended in there and together to give me that skill set. So let's kind of go ahead and take a look at what is being blended into each one of these. And these are all, individual things within the text and the conversation that cause those to score that way. So in terms of keeping conversation going, that there's 4 things that cause that score to be that way. These are the 4 important factors of that. Talking time in the conversation. I scored talking time in the middle of the conversation. I talked a little bit way too much. I wasn't really. I was just going, and part of it is because I was telling a story. However, that story might have taken up too much time, and it could be whatever. However, I should have known that and adjusted to it. So it's something I have to address. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's being shown just because I'm dealing with a smaller data set, and a larger data set would make that smaller. However, it's something that I still have to address and focus on. Next is questions asked in the middle of conversation. I scored a little bit too high, but that's not really that big of a deal. Next part is blending first person and second person pronouns. This is something that is actually a big issue that I looked at and understood. And the reason why it's a big issue is that it's really the focus of conversation, blending personal pronouns. So for example, if I say I multiple times, then the conversation's about me, everything's on me. If it's you, then it's all about you and putting pressure on you. If they're blended together in a way that it's a very common relationship between us, that's perfect. So I pulled up an article here from a communications professor. It is very important to speak in I statements. If I were to say to my daughter, "You are beautiful," this puts me in the position of someone who can judge her. It also creates a standard in her head, a standard to be held. That is pressure. So she's like, okay, I'm beautiful. I have to keep being beautiful. On the other hand, if I say, "I think you're beautiful," I take owner of the statement. It may be more challenging to say this, but the statement is more about me than about her. And then in the results of that sense, it's more about me than about her, but it's still about her and us. That's how connections are formed, and that's something that I am lacking right now, and I need to improve upon, because I'm 27, 28. I'm getting old, but I still have lots of years of life left in me. All right, so the next thing we want to look at here is the echo. So the echo is when you're talking to somebody, what you notice is that some people will actually use keywords in their sentence. So they'll listen to you, pick out a keyword, and then use it to kind of continue on. And that's something that I don't do well at all right here. I think I used it like once or twice, and optimal range is 33%. So let's kind of look at why echoing is important. Here's a pretty big article. When people use the same words, it creates less social distance between them and makes them feel more similar to each other. But when you use different words, it creates more social distance. Psychologists call this the echo effect. The basic idea is that repeating basic words that people use, we can benefit our social interactions in various ways. It places you in their head, signals that you're on the same page. It improves comfort and likability. Obviously, you guys can see I'm a fucking big golf guy. And then how to practice. Okay, cool. So that's something I don't do well at all, and it's just going ahead and picking out a keyword, stating it, and I'll have a tendency of using more personal pronouns than other people. So all that I have to do is just replace that personal pronoun with the word that I'm supposed to be saying instead of the personal pronoun. Pretty simple fix. However, in real time, and you're just kind of talking, it takes a little bit of effort to do. So how am I going to work on these? These are two very important things that I need to get down. So what I've done is I've created a little text messaging application for myself, or I can text it. It'll send me back the analytics for it in a pretty cool way. So let's kind of go through it here. So I went to the park, and this dog ate the other dog. Kind of crazy story here. So the keywords in this would be dog, park, and then dog and ate. So 33% keywords. That's something that improves likability, is including more nouns and action verbs. So you can kind of see a dog just chowing down on another dog. So first person is I. There's no second person use. So I'm not bridging the other person into this, which I'm not doing it. There's no questions. There's no echoing words from this. So is it an okay statement? Sure, but it makes the other person respond to what I'm saying. And I'm not building that bridge of communication. So what did you do this past weekend? This past weekend at a fantasy football draft. What about you? It's kind of okay. Really, one keyword is football. One first person, one second person. It's kind of in the form of a question. It's really kind of a half-assed statement, if you ask me. But they kind of a question, so there's really nothing I can go off of. So anyways, that's kind of what I'm working on right now. Those are kind of the cool little charts where I want to be in like a month or so, and we'll kind of see where I can go, and hopefully I can go ahead and improve upon this, because ultimately, if this works out for me, I think there's a lot of value in helping other people out. I've already been talking to my little sister if she'd be interested in it, just because I'm seeing the same trends in our family. And I ultimately want to fix that, because I don't want my family to be communicating ineffectively for, multiple generations to come. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you made it this long, well, leave a comment, leave an email or something, and if this works out, I'll give you guys a free analytics report. So if you guys want to talk with me, I can go ahead and send this to you. So just leave a comment, and then I'll go ahead and call you on Skype and I can give this to you.